Yesterday, we had a conversation about should Bryce Young play in the preseason. Sometimes things you say on air inform how you will react to news. Because when we thought it was a question of will Bryce Young play or not, I was pretty emphatic that I thought he should play. And play probably more, like I lean on the side of play him more than most people would. He needs the reps. The team needs the reps. They need to get on the same page. There's confidence to be built. And there's less, contendership for the Panthers to protect, right? If a player gets hurt, misses 3 weeks of the season, it's not like it's costing you the number 1 seed, if you catch my drift. So I said all of that yesterday. Like, I like to think, because I did quite a bit of preparation, there was like a well thought out argument with topic A, topic B, this reason, that reason. It was like the outlines you used to have to write up in middle school English before you wrote your term paper. And then today, about noon, the news comes out that Dave Canales announces to the media that Bryce Young will not be playing Thursday in the preseason opener for the Carolina Panthers. And as much as I like Dave Canales, and I do think he's a good dude, I think his energy is refreshing for the Panthers. He seems like a coach with the proper kind of career resume to maybe bring something new to the Panthers and uplift that offense. Because of everything I said yesterday, I can't even try to spin this for you. Right? I firmly said, you play Bryce Young and you play him a lot. And then the next day it came out and said, actually, we're not going to play him at all in the first preseason game. So needless to say, I'm going to sound negative for the next 6 or 7 minutes. Bryce Young should be playing in Thursday's preseason game. He will not be. That is robbing him and the offense of another chance to get on the same page. Matter of fact, I'll take it one step further. One of the thought processes, observations is a better word. One of the observations about Panthers training camp, that a question that's being asked by those covering the team is, why aren't more deep balls being thrown in training camp? Why isn't Bryce Young testing the defense downfield more? Why aren't wide receivers getting a chance to make bigger plays on deep throws? Dave Canales earlier this week had that question presented to him, and he said a big part of the reason why there's not more deep ball opportunities is because of the way the defense is playing, right? The way Ejiro Evero's defensive system is working, part of those fundamental strategies are keep the ball in front of you. We have the sound of Dave Canales explaining that, so here it is.
Yeah, I think it's number one, our scheme defensively is fantastic, so it's really hard. This scheme right here really maximizes the disguise. They do so many good things that make it hard for you to kind of know when you're going to be able to get that shot down the field. And so it's just a matter of, for our quarterbacks, especially studying our guys, to say, this is a look when this shot would be good. And I think, generally speaking, as far as training camps go, our deep ball production kind of increases the further into camp we get, and it really does show up more in games. When you're out here in a practice setting, a lot of the times the defense and secondary play a little bit more conservative. In games, they're more liable to take a shot on a guy or try to cover something where you can set up some of those shots. But and it's definitely something we just have to, bottom line, just improve on and get opportunities on. So I'd love to see more production down the field, yes, but it's been really difficult against our defense right now.
So if the number one option, the number one reason you're not getting the opportunity to work on your deep ball completions, which are a big part of the NFL, right? If you give somebody the option, you can go 14 plays and convert 3 third downs, or you can just throw a 65-yard touchdown. Yeah, we know which one of those it takes less effort, right? has less degree of difficulty. So if one of the reasons why you can't complete more deep balls, you're not even attempting more deep balls, is because the Panthers' defensive scheme is all about keeping the ball in front of you, where might Bryce Young get to play against a different defensive scheme? Thursday night against the Patriots. Mm-hmm. And what else did he say, if you paid attention there? Dave Canales said also, in practices, guys tend to be more conservative. They tend to sit back. In games, they tend to be more aggressive. That's where you can take shots downfield. Where might you get more of a game look for Bryce Young to throw downfield?
In a game?
Thursday against the Patriots. But you're not playing him Thursday against the Patriots. You're going to keep controlling the situation by only letting him play in practice, where you've just admitted, for multiple reasons, he doesn't get to explore the entirety of the playbook.
Which, by the way, the Panthers did not have one pass completion over 50 yards last season.
Not a darn one. There were points in time where they completed, I think it was a 28-yarder to Adam Thielen on the sideline. Mm-hmm. It was the game we were sitting at Ale House downtown, Carolina Ale House.
Yeah, Monday night game.
And I went I think that's the longest completion, longest play of the entire season. Eventually, there was maybe a Mingo, a Chark catch, and a Miles Sanders run, but there really weren't that many big-time plays.
It was practice squad Mike had the longest completion, I think, of 48 yards.
You're exactly right.
Practice squad Mike.
It is an issue if your offense isn't picking up chunk plays. Now, if in practice, and I just said this on the Adam Gold Show not long ago, if in practice the defense is giving you a, hey, don't throw a deep ball look, then I never, ever, ever want Bryce Young to force a pass somewhere. Hey, we just need to get Deontay a deep ball, so, even if it's two safeties and they're both deep, chuck it out there.
Yep.
Never want that to happen, right? If in practice the right read is the underneath stuff every single time, I need Bryce Young throwing the underneath stuff every single time, because that's what good quarterbacks do, right? You let the defense decide where you throw the ball. But if that's the case, then I need to get him in the situations where the deep ball is called for. And that might be preseason games. But we're not going to get a chance to see that because they're not playing Bryce Young. So in addition to just the big, overarching, generic, young quarterbacks need reps, Bryce Young needs to get comfortable in the offense. Dave Canales needs to get comfortable calling plays for Bryce Young in every situation. The wide receivers, particularly the new ones like Deontay Johnson, need to be on the exact same page with Bryce Young. In addition to all of that, you just need to get out of practice mode, which is essentially what Dave Canales said is the reason for them not throwing down the field more. It's we're in practice mode.
Yeah.
Right? Our defense keeps it in front of them, and they're a little bit more conservative in practice. All right, well, how do we try that, right? How do we get a world where Bryce Young has to throw downfield? Because there will be times in the regular season, particularly if the Panthers run as much as we think they're going to run, where the opposing team's defense is not as disciplined keeping everything in front of them. They're going to creep towards the line of scrimmage. The safeties are going to come down to help with the run, and they're going to be vulnerable to over-the-top stuff. But if Bryce Young hadn't thrown it since Alabama, then he's not going to be ready to take advantage of it.
Yeah.
Play him in the preseason. If he doesn't play preseason week 2, see, I'm going to do it again. I'm going to paint myself into a corner, so if they don't play him, I have to get real mad again. If he doesn't play in preseason week 2, I'm going to be baffled beyond belief. I'll start asking big theoretical questions.
At least leading up to preseason game number 2, which is a home game against the Jets, they are going to have joint practices with the New York Jets, so they're going to have a couple of those.
Yes,
so
which is
at
another
least
good
you're going to
opportunity.
get that.
Yes. Absolutely, because if there's anything we know about the Jets secondary, they can be beat over the top. Because all we see is Aaron Rodgers throwing it to Garrett Wilson over the top every day all over Twitter.
Yeah.
Malachi Corley catching deep balls, so we know they're gettable outside of Sauce Gardner.